Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out with Joe Gallagher. Joe, we're at the final press conference now for the WBSS super middleweight final between your man, Callum Smith, and George Groves. How's Callum been looking in training, and has the little delay in the final been helpful to you guys?
Final press conference, first one I'm aware of. I think today was announcement for an announcement. Listen, training's been going really well. Really pleased that it's George Groves, Callum Smith in the final. I was a bit worried back there in June, July when they were saying, "Oh, put a Eubank in or a replacement in," and that isn't it. This is the tournament, this is the final, the number one, the number two seeds fighting it. So full credit to Camosa for giving the fans what they want and giving us and George Groves that bit of time, extra time to both prepare for it. Training camp's going well. I think it's 5 weeks to go now, and we're looking forward to it.
Just tell us a little bit about, as a trainer, what you've had to do when you had a date in mind, it got put back. Have you had to pull Callum back a little bit and give him a bit of a rest and then go again?
Well, Callum hasn't been doing no boxing in the period of time, but he has been training, keeping switched on, but nothing boxing heavy at all wise. He's just chilled, and then once we got the date, what we always wanted, same like George, we wanted that 8-10 weeks notice, and we're up and running now, so it's not a case of putting our foot to the floor too early, and really looking forward to it.
What challenges as a trainer does having the fight in Jeddah present you that you wouldn't maybe have to deal with if the fight was in the UK? Is there anything extra that you have to do?
No, not necessarily. Maybe the food, the diet-wise, the time difference isn't that much difference. I think there's only 2 hours. They're all on about the heat. I'm sure it'll be in an air-conditioned building. So not necessarily much to really worry about. Really, we've got to get over there in plenty of time and go about business. I think the thing what you've had to adjust for the tournament is to realise in the tournament that you're not to peak. You've got to treat the World Boxing Super Series tournament like a World Cup, like a Wimbledon. You don't peak in your first fight, you don't peak in your second fight, you need to perform in the final. And that's where it's been with Callum Smith. It's been getting the results, whether it be boxing boring or not as crash bang wallop as much as it used to be. It's about getting the decision, no injuries, and getting to the final. We're in the final now, so let's rock and roll.
How far in advance do you plan to go over to Jeddah? Have you booked flights and stuff already?
Yeah, flights are all done. It's like, was it 8 to 10 days before it? So we're busy because we've got Callum Johnson fighting the next weekend after that for the world title. So we're logistically sorting all that out at the moment.
What do you think about Groves as a fighter at this stage of his career, and how do you think he's changed style-wise from, say, 5 years ago?
I think he's brilliant, George Groves. I'm a huge admirer of him, huge fan of him. He's a fighter's fighter. From where he's come from, when you look at being knocked out in front of 80,000 against Carl Froch, getting off the canvas in Las Vegas, to come back, adjust, and come through some hardships, broken jaws, bad shoulders, mentally strong, mentally tough person, and he has that belief, he has that swagger about him now. He's the number one in the world by the Ring magazine. That gives him huge confidence. You can just see the appetite in him to win what they call the Rocky Belt. I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's picked the right person in Shane McGuigan. Shane, very similar to Adam Booth, stylistically wise and how they coach the fighters. And he's got George back to doing what George does best, and the results are showing that. So full credit and praise to him. And I don't think that there's many people in Britain, boxing-wise, that you couldn't ask for a better role model example at the moment through going hardships and coming back.
And what is it about your man, Callum Smith, in terms of his makeup that makes him the wrong fight for George Groves at this time? What's going to make the difference in this fight?
I don't know, like I say, it's like everyone will say, you've got the older experienced George Groves being there, being on the big stage many a times. You've got Callum Smith, some will say, oh, this is the first time he's on the big stage. But Callum, like you say, he was a well-travelled amateur, travelled all over the world. And as soon as he's been given tests in the pros, whether Mendy for the English, Fielding for the British, Mohammadi for the European, when people feel his back's against the wall, he produces, and maybe the last couple of fights haven't got his juices going as much, and this has. So we'll wait and see on September the 28th.
Is it a timing thing that Callum Smith, obviously unbeaten, his whole career has been building up to this moment, whereas Groves has been there, done it as you've alluded to? Maybe now the timing's just right for Callum?
I don't know whether the timing right. I think what you've got with Callum Smith and George Groves, you've got two very good fighters. Both can hit with both hands, long range and short range. and that's what's making it an exciting fight. Callum's got the potential to knock George out. We know George can be knocked out, and George has the power to knock Callum out, but he'd be looking to try and test Callum's whiskers during the fight, and that's what makes it a great fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
Huge event, WBSS final, only the second one, obviously the first one in the super middleweight division, out in Jeddah. Ali Trophy at stake, best super middleweight in the world at stake also. Do these sort of things still excite you as a trainer, or is it just another job now? Because you've been doing it for so long, you've been in so many big fights.
No, definitely excites me. Funny enough that Callum and George are fighting for the same belts, apart from the World Boxing Super Series, as Anthony Crolla did versus Jorge Linares. So I remember being in the ring in the arena that night and having that Ring magazine there, looking at it, thinking, oh, you can't touch it, and listen, we've got another bite of the cherry at it. But yeah, it's exciting, especially when there's not that many Ring magazine champions that Britain have produced or I've ever had the honour of owning that belt. So we go through the list of names that have, and to think, wow, you can be really in an exclusive club here, and yeah, that excites you and motivates you, and motivates Callum Smith as well.
We wish you the very best of luck, Joe, and hope the press conference goes well as well.